Dreaming of being naked or seeing someone naked. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Today's interpretation is about dreaming of yourself being naked or seeing someone else being naked. Now, when we think of being naked, we think of innocence, purity, a true form, meaning it represents honesty, truthfulness, hiding nothing, but it also represents vulnerability. Okay? So when you see yourself naked and perhaps feeling cold or feeling cool, that could represent your death. And, um, like we always say, we bring every dream unto the Lord. So you want to pray against the spirit of death. You want to pray against untimely death, premature death. Okay. Another thing, if you dream it's someone else who is naked, that could mean death upon that person or death within that family. So if that person is related to you, it means it is a death within the family. Okay? And it does not necessarily have to always be that person. It can represent that person's death, but it can also represent a death within the family. So if you are related with the person, yes, it means a death in the family. Okay. Another thing, you can dream of yourself being naked and people looking at you, or worse, being naked and seeing yourself being seen on TV or being seen online being naked. Now that represents shame. Just a few pointers when it comes to dream interpretation. You have been dreaming since you were a child, and it's our duty as people to learn to understand how we dream and what certain things mean to us. I can, for example, I can tell you the number 10 means 1, 2, 3. But for you, number 10 could be the house number you grew up in. It can also be the number 10 jersey you used to wear when you were in high school playing sports. So you need to understand what different things mean to you. Okay? And it'll help us by studying the dreams we've had. And we can only study them when they are already journaled. So it'll help us to journal down our dreams, and then from then we learn to study them even as things happen, especially for those of you whom your dreams are prophetic. They'll help you to be able to understand your dreams better. Okay, so that you know that when you dream this, it means more or less this, it's symbolic of this. Okay. And when we dream of bad dreams, we should always cancel them out. And also, when we dream of good dreams, it helps us to just pray on them and receive them. Okay? And trust your intuition and your dream interpretation. When it comes to dream interpretation, you might say, well, I'm not a good dream interpreter, but you can trust your gut. The first thing is for you to establish, is it a good or is it a bad dream? Once you know whether it's a good or a bad dream, that could be determined by how you felt in the dream and how you felt after you got up from the dream. Were you anxious? Were you sad? Or were you crying? You know, that helps you to be able to establish whether it was a good or a bad dream. This way, when you go look for a meaning online for the dream, then you know to look more on the side of the not so positive, because you already know that it's not a good dream. If I'm saying if if a dream has got two meanings and one is positive and one is negative, it doesn't help us to try and force the positive to fit your dream interpretation, because you need to understand what God is saying and pray over it. So the first thing is trust your intuition. 2, establish whether it is a good or a bad dream. 3, understand the symbols in your dreams. It is true that seeing a dog is not a good sign, but for someone who loves dogs, for someone who has dogs, it really is not a bad sign at all. Do you see? For someone who's terrified of dogs, someone who was once bitten by dogs, when they see dogs, they might just have a quite a different reaction from a dog lover. So again, understand the patterns in your life, understand the dreams that have been repeated in your life, understand the symbolism in your dream. As much as I can make a video to say number one stands for this, two stands for this, three stands for this, for whatever different numbers and the representation in dreams, it doesn't help. It won't help you much so long as you do not open your mind to understand the already existing vocabulary that's already there in your own personal dream. 21 can mean something else, but in your own life, you know 21 means this. That is why when we interpret dreams, we like to say it may mean, or it could mean, or it could possibly mean. Okay, so that's the pointers I wanted to share with us. So when you dream of nakedness, overall, it's not a good dream. You know, it is not a good dream. As you can see, it can either represent death, but it can also represent shame. But I've also made a mention of other things that it can also represent innocence. Do you see? So it helps us to look at the context of a dream. It can also mean innocence. It can also mean honesty, vulnerability. So it depends on the context of the dream for you to be able to understand exactly what the dream means. So I hope that this is helpful to someone. So thank you guys. God bless.